Hey everybody, I wanted to make a quick post about movement. So, what I have been doing is moving more and more every day, right? So, the goal with TMS is to constantly keep on moving more. If you have pain, you want to move so that your brain knows you're actually able to do the movement. If you keep restricting your range of motion, eventually it's going to get to the point where you can't do certain things. You can't bend over. You can't touch your knees. You can't touch your ankles. You can't touch your shins. So if you're only bending over to the point where you can touch your ankles and your brain thinks maybe that's dangerous, you might get to the point where in a few weeks you can only touch your shins. And you might get to the point where in a few weeks you can only touch your knees. Your brain is going to constantly look for something to keep your brain, your body, your mind focused on the thing that it's telling you you're afraid of, which, according to Dr. Sarno, is repressed emotions, right? Subconscious, unconscious, not something that you're consciously aware of. But that's why with TMS, your pain keeps moving and your brain keeps increasing the amount of pain, the pain areas, and decreasing your range of motion. Because eventually you would kind of get to the point where you're like, well, this is kind of bullshit, so I'm going to keep on doing things, right? So the brain's smart enough to say, oh, they're not so afraid of touching the floor anymore. Let's make it their ankle. So now you slowly start doing less and less, and you get more and more restricted, which is exactly what happened to me. I stopped doing deadlifts, and then I stopped bending over, and then I stopped doing squats because each thing made me think, well, if I'm not doing that, maybe I shouldn't do that either. So the fear kept adding on, adding on, adding on, and all the while my range of motion was decreasing, my activity was decreasing, and I had to turn all of that around and start doing more, moving more, increasing my range of motion, reassuring my brain that I'm okay. So the processes or the steps that you should take if you think you are experiencing TMS as part of your chronic pain is to see a medical doctor. Make sure there is nothing physically wrong, nothing structurally wrong. Get your x-rays, get your CT scans, get your MRIs, get your doctor to say there's nothing wrong. If you've had a situation where you've had a broken limb, a knee, an ankle, an arm, whatever it was, and that has healed, and then you got pain after it was healed, that might also be a sign that you're experiencing TMS as part of your chronic pain, as part of your symptoms. For more information, go to my website, sign up for my newsletter. It'll give you a lot of information every week. But the thing that we want to do is make sure there's nothing structurally wrong. There is no medical diagnosis, no illness, and that our pain is moving around. It's changing in severity, and it's been going on for quite a while. Quite a while, in my case, was about 23 years. The hardest part of that 23 years was the last 3 years when I basically had very little activity, just basically getting up every day and staying at the house. That was it. And that was even difficult from a standpoint of going up and down stairs, getting in and out of the car. It got to the point where I wasn't doing much of anything. But again, nothing physically wrong, nothing medically wrong, no diagnosis, no structural damage, just my brain, fear, TMS, range of motion decreasing, and it just kept adding on, adding on, adding on till it got to the point where I was doing virtually nothing. So I had to reverse all that and go in the other direction. And that will be the same process that you will need to follow if you are experiencing TMS currently. For more information, go to painpass.com. Check out the information, check out the resources, sign up for my newsletter. Bleh. Sign up for my newsletter. And if interested, join me on my podcast. I can interview you, I can know what you're going through, and we can all get through this together. Have a great weekend.